Hello?
Hello?
Hey. That's weird. My phone started ringing.
Mine does that every time. Does yours not?
It says scam likely. Hold on. Hello? Hello? Can you speak up? Hello? Hello? No, I guess not. All right then.
Do you say it says scam white lady?
Scam likely.
Oh. I thought you said scam white lady. I was like, oh, well, that's very specific. What about Black Panther is?
I don't think it's...
That's the new dog whistle? The thing about Black Panther is...
Yeah. Oh, no, you have to start it...
That's what Bret Easton Ellis thing is.
You got to start it with controversial opinion, but I don't think Black Panther was that good a movie, you know? I don't see why.
You know what I think? I think Bret Easton Ellis is a piece of shit, and he said stuff like this before. Do you remember that stuff he said about Matthew Bomer?
Oh, you know what? I don't. What did he say? I know, it sounded like I was going to be like, oh, yeah.
You were like, oh, yeah. No, I got no clue, man. No. So Bret Easton Ellis, years ago, apparently he was in some way attached to adapting 50 Shades of Grey. And he didn't do the final one or whatever. But first of all, he was acting like that's a piece of art, which says a lot about him. Mm-hmm. And the garbage that he's created and spewed into the world. He was saying that Matt Bomer, and I hope I'm pronouncing his last name right, this actor, he's the guy on White Collar. He was also in the Magic Mike films.
Yeah.
And he's gay. Like, Matt Bomer is gay. And he was saying that, Bret Easton also saying Matt Bomer can't play the Grey character, whatever the protagonist, Christian Grey, that's it, can't play him because he's gay. And women will not find him sexually attractive because he's gay. He's literally one of the most beautiful men on earth. Like, if you look at him, he looks like Superman. Like, he is like all American boy.
I mean, if anything, it's going to expand the amount of people that are going to find him attractive. Because it's like, okay, well, he's traditionally attractive, and I also know his personal life, and I like that about him. And, you know,
yeah, and women don't care.
Nah.
Women do not care about that. That is not... I mean, look, there are always some. Like, you can't generalize an entire... You know, but, like, for the most part, women don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could see men, you know, if his argument was, and it would be wrong, but if his argument was Matt Bomer can't play James Bond, for example, like a hyper-masculine role, one could argue, toxic masculine role. If his argument was he can't play him because he's gay, I would be like, well, first of all, that's really shitty to an actor to say that they can't play it, because an actor should be able to play any part. And the argument, I would say, like, okay, I kind of see what you're saying, because what you're saying is more of people will not accept him in this role. And in the sense of, like, straight men not accepting a gay man playing that role, maybe they would initially be, like, apprehensive. But you know what? They were apprehensive about Daniel Craig playing Bond because he was blonde. But then he played him and he was a badass and everyone was cool. So they didn't care at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it's like, but if it was that kind of argument, I could kind of see it. But I'm like, you don't even know your audience, who you're claiming to know here. Because women don't care. Like, that's not a thing.
I mean, there's a lot of problems with I was going to say Orange is the New Gray, with 50 Shades of Grey.
Shit. That is episode title. Possibility. We'll see what it is.
But I was going to say, there's so much wrong with it already. The book, the story, the movie.
It's Twilight fan fiction.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's beside the point. Fan fiction is great when applied properly. I mean, if you think about it, all of comic books is fan fiction, really.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
please don't make me talk about fan. Okay. All right. Look,
I don't want to alienate.
No. It's okay. It's okay. I'm just gonna keep it 100 here.
All right.
My belief is go write your own damn characters.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's just, especially when you're starting out. Okay. If you reach that point where you're, I don't know. To me, it never appealed to me, and I didn't get it because I was like, why would you want to take on these other characters that already have all of this stuff when you can create them? That's the most fun. It just, I don't know.
There's a lot to be said for both, really. I mean, if you look at Star Trek and the entirety of their novelizations and, you know, all the fan films that are made, I mean, the people that are making Trek now are basically the ones that were writing the fanfic back in the day.
You know what? That's fair. And same with the Star Wars novels, and you said comic books. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's it. It's got a stigma, and I buy into that stigma.
Yeah, I mean, it has connotations. When you say fanfic and you don't say, okay, it's an original work based on these characters, it does have those connotations that come along with it that project a certain type of story or a certain type of writer, you know, in a negative light. So I totally get where you're coming from with that.
Right.
Yeah,
and like you were saying, like, I'm assuming you brought up, or fan fiction was brought up because women write gay fan fiction a lot.
Oh yeah,
like,
what is it?
Very common.
It's called slash, right? Yeah, slash fiction.
Is that what it's called? I don't know.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Marianne Mohanraj, who did a Star Trek panel with Mitchie, Troda, Tanya DePass, and myself a couple years back, she was saying that she was just so enthralled with Star Trek that she grew up writing slash fiction about Kirk and Spock. And
ooh.
I mean, I'm not trying to be like distancing myself from it, like, oh, but I mean, it's not my jam, but I appreciate that somebody's that passionate about it, you know?
So do you want to hear how I learned that was a thing?
Sure.
I remember specifically Googling Smallville when I was like 13 or whatever, 12 or 13, just discovering it.
Okay.
And like, you Google and then you Google image. And there was apparently a whole thing where people had fanfic / fic, whatever, Clark and Lex.
Uh-huh.
And so they photoshopped their faces on gay pornography.
Oh, I see.
So it wasn't like a story. It wasn't like I stumbled into a story. It was straight up like porn. And I was like, no, the internet is a bad place. I closed it and I was like, oh no.
Like, I get it.
There's anything wrong with that. Like, it's
no.
like there's, but it was just like, I was just like, this is not what I was expecting. I wanted to know trivia.
Right. It's like, okay, all right. And I'll acquiesce to that. It's like, if you're in the mood, if you're on the hunt for that sort of thing, yeah, party on.
Oh yeah, bring it. Yeah,
but,
I get it.
If you don't have Google Safe Search on and you're just looking for...
Like, real quick, Liv Tyler... No, sorry. No.
You know what I'm saying?
No. So, like, and that was very much Wild Wild West situation of, like, I didn't have any protections on my computer because, my dad had the rule of, don't abuse anything. Don't give me any reason to take something away from you, and I won't, basically. Like, don't give me a reason to take away your phone or your computer or whatever, and I won't do it. And I'm like, I never got into trouble or anything. So it was like, things like that would happen by mistake.
Yeah.
Not really seeking it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the rules have to be totally different. I think the rules would have to be totally different if it was a boy, though.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a little bit sexist, but...
I don't know. I mean...
Yeah.
I kind of feel like it goes the same way, if not more so. Like, what you just described is basically...
Either way, it messes, if you're seeking it out and you get into bad stuff, like, they've done studies, it messes with your head.
Yeah.
Like, it's not good for them, especially so young. And it can happen to anyone.
I mean, it helps to get out a lot of, like, pent-up frustration, and it helps you... In fact, I mean, and I know this is the stereotypical, like, rationale for it, but it helps to actually teach a few things, not... obviously how things are supposed to, happen 100% of the time, but just, basic, architecture, I guess you want to call it.
Yeah, no. It's not that. It's not that it exists.
Yeah.
Or that it's available. It's the severity of the stuff that's available and the treatment of women.
Yeah. And
just like how a lot of pornography is done now, that's like always appealing to men and male needs and everything. And they have different stuff, like there's a lot, but it's just, they're like I think it's kind of, And hey, guys, feel free to tell me I'm wrong on this, right into the show. But I feel like we don't address the problematic stuff because we're like, we don't want to limit this in any way. We don't want to go backwards. And I'm like, yeah, but we don't have to go backwards to like make sure that, women are treated right in an industry or something like that. We can find a middle ground.
You're 100% right. And there's a lot of problematic stuff out there. There's a lot of stuff from the old guard, but there's also stuff out there like Wood Rocket, which actually is a production studio that does a lot of parody stuff, and they do a lot of...
Well, you came up with that name real quick, didn't you?
No shame, man. Because you know what?
No, you're good.
I support stuff like that actually does offer an alternative,
Oh, yeah, the paid ones that are... Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's like, women directors people. And that sort of thing,
that makes all the difference in the world.
Definitely. Pornhub is good at that stuff too. They actually have a lot of films on their site that are geared towards women.
Okay, but
from that perspective.
But okay, so God damn it, family, if you're listening, tune out.
This was not in the notes.
This is not. No, do not put this in the notes. Okay,
no.
But the problem with Pornhub is that if you go on there, even if you're going on there for something like that's better, like you end up getting pop-ups and stuff like that, and you're like, holy shit, that is not what I was looking for.
Oh man, well then I got to tell you about, and I swear this is not a paid advertisement, uBlock Origin. uBlock Origin is a great...
Does it work on your phone?
Well, that's a valid point, as 90% of that is
you could see my
phone.
face, I am fucking red as can be. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
uBlock Origin, which, as far as I know, only works on desktops, blocks out the majority of ads from different sites. There's another version of uBlock Origin that's specifically for YouTube that takes the ad videos. Oh no, I'm thinking of AdBlock for YouTube. It takes out the commercials before the YouTube videos.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
useful.
I know people complain about ads on YouTube all the time. I don't, because I haven't seen them in like 5 years because this app is just so great. So check that out.
It gets bad. It like YouTube. Yeah, I understand it. But I also understand that it's a business and you need ads, everything like that. But yeah, so I don't know, guys. Be careful what you consume, I guess.
I guess. It's funny because at my job, which shall remain nameless.
Goddamn tangent again.
At my job, this type of stuff is discussed like 24/7. Like there's no chill whatsoever.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
Spicy time.
This is exactly, all day, every day. This is where I get this information from.
So this is the repressed or repression shit that I have only discussed things like this like really low key with like close girlfriend, like that kind of stuff. Not not in a public forum, but hey, guess what, guys? 2019, whole new year.
That's right. It's not even behind a Patreon wall. That's what's up.
No, not yet.
Not yet. No.
No, guys, we're gonna keep it free. But we're gonna offer some fun stuff, other stuff in the future.
We've got ideas.
Yeah. Anyway, keep going. Sorry about that.
Anyway.
So it's discussed at work.
Oh yeah, disgusting, whatever you want to call it. Also being discussed at work, of course, ad nauseum football, nonstop.
That is one hell of a transition, but I'll let you kick it over to that.
Look at you. Okay. Gonna give your face time to calm down.
Listen, no one can hate me as much as I hate myself. I'm just throwing it out there. No one can.
Oh man, just wait until we start getting comments. Just wait.
Yeah. Superb Owl.
Yes, the Superb Owl was not quite superb this year.
I don't care about football.
No.
I was into it a couple years ago because I was like, I'm going to root for my home team. I'm from Baltimore. I'm going to root for the Ravens. I'm going to get super into it. And then it was like, oh no, these guys are beating their wives. Oh no, head injuries. Oh no. And it was just like, and then by the time Kaepernick took a knee, I was like, I'm already out of this shit. Like they're treating him like garbage. Done.
Yeah. So how hard did they try to course correct in those little, vignettes they were showing in between plays? It was almost laughable. They had, oh my goodness, they had John Lewis up there to flip the coin, the civil rights activist and, politician. who is also an Eisner Award winning writer. They had Coretta King was up there as well. They had Gladys Knight doing, America the Beautiful, or the national anthem. Yeah, so it was like they were just really leaning hard into, like, hey, black people, come on back. It's fine. Football's great for you. They had.
We'll just give you debilitating head injuries.
Yeah.
And treat you like animals during the process of picking you. And not actually pay you properly, and then and then we won't care about police brutality, and fuck them. I'm sorry. I just
yeah. It's awful when you think about it for more than 2 seconds, and to even consider the fact that all this patriotism that everybody's all gung ho for is nothing but a paid advertisement by the armed forces. It started out that way, and it still is.
Yeah. That's man. We need to share a link in some way about that, so that, because it's too much to get into on this.
It really is. Yeah.
But it's really fascinating to see how we have these stipends for films, for television, for sporting events, and there's a lot. And it's not to say all patriotism is propaganda and everything like that, but there is a lot of propaganda. And to use certain things in movies, you have to get permission, and you basically sign away your rights to do something they don't like. Which is, I think, what happened with Zero Dark 30, if I'm not mistaken. They did not like that movie. But I don't know.
Interesting.
So they had, I'm not gonna lie, I saw the trailer for Avengers, and then I saw Twilight Zone, and I don't really remember if I saw anything else.
Well, I had a couple I wanted to call out. So you mentioned Avengers End Game. We saw another miniature trailer for that. So we actually had somebody come to us on our Instagram page and recommend that we bring that up this evening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
So, shout out to our Instagram fans. Thank you for subscribing and all that business.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, so here we are. We're talking about your thing.
So End Game.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was perfect. That trailer.
I think it's just such a big tease. Every single glimpse we get of this film is such a big tease.
That's all I want. I want them to stop right now.
Yeah.
Just keep showing that trailer. That's it. Or that teaser. That's it.
So we know.
Why do we need anything else? We're already in, man.
We know
We've been
Steve.
in for 16 films or whatever?
Right. We're not going to give up now. This isn't going to be it.
I want it to be vague. I want to not know anything. Disney could release this movie and not give us a goddamn thing. Just a poster, and I'd be in. I'd be more happy because I wouldn't know anything about it.
I wish that would have been it.
They're going to have more.
Yeah. I totally wish that would have been
anything else, though. They don't need anything more.
Right, because we're already in. We gotta know. We gotta know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, it's like the complaints over, what was it? Infinity War.
Yeah.
Where people were like, this is not a complete story, and these characters are just thrown in there. I'm like, there were how many other films before this that were required viewing going in? You're either in or you're out, man.
A decade worth of films is how many. Yeah. It's
a crossover. You're in the crossover, you're not. I don't know.
So all that to be said, okay, so even with everything that we've seen so far in the Avengers End Game teasers, what's great about that is we know this is just them fucking with us. Because we know what happened with Infinity War. How we had this big action scene with everybody charging together in Wakanda. And Hulk is there. And we have Falcon flying overhead. And Iron Man's over there too. And so is War Machine. That shit didn't happen. At all.
Smart. Man, they've gotten smart with this stuff.
I love it. Because you know what? They used to fuck with us like that. Hollywood, for a minute, tended to give us these money shots in trailers that
it was
really
too much.
Yeah, and but what I'm saying is that they didn't exist within the film. So in particular, I'm thinking of that movie Predators that came out. What was the guy's name? The actor in Predators, Adrian Brody. So it was the Adrian Brody movie. Machete was in there too. I can't think of his name right now, but Adrian Brody was in it. And it was an okay movie, but there's a moment in the trailer where all these different like predator reticles are coming on him, and it's like, oh shit, it's gonna be a whole predator attack and not just one dude this time, because usually just one predator. That never happened, not once. So that was like a huge misdirect, and there was never any payoff, and it pissed me off. But if they're doing it like this to give the fans just a taste, like almost like it's almost just like an hors d'oeuvre. Like, here, this is an idea of what you're going to taste for this meal. And just to give us that, to say, okay, this is setting the theme. This is setting the mood.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want.
I think that's like you said, that they, for a while they went away from that, but that's how they used to do it. And I think it's coming back. Because I think people are tired of the like spoiler culture. Of course, you can get everything. Like, you can find out everything, and it's getting annoying.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to enjoy the thing.
Yeah, I miss those old trailers where it'd be like, witness Vivian Leigh, Clark Gable, in Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, I don't. I hate those with the voiceover.
Oh
like
man.
The movie guy.
Yeah.
No, I hate those.
And there was just a big fuck you scene of just like cowboys running for some reason. Who knows? They were just running and fighting each other.
Yeah. and then there's a kiss that's like the old movie kiss, but it's like aggressively grabbing her. It's just assault, like straight up. Like, you know those old school movie kisses where it's like grabs her arm, spins her around, pulls her in, kisses her like super aggressively. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's one of those thrown in there.
And then in big cursive letters, romance,
action, war.
Yes. You have to see the movie. Everyone's talking about Gone with the Wind. I don't know why I'm stuck on that one, but yeah. That's the
one that came to you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone, I'm excited for. How great was that teaser for Twilight Zone 2? Man, like, okay, so Jordan Peele.
The thing that really sells me is that he's in addition to producing this, he's hosting it.
Yes. That's great. I mean, he's always been a horror guy, even on Key and Peele, when they had those kind of creepy skits, and unless there was something incredibly funny that happened in there, it could have totally just been like a horror, skit or whatever.
Oh my gosh, probably my favorite Key and Peele skit is Gremlins 2.
Mm-hmm.
That skit where he's mocking this horror genre, where it's like, why don't we take it, make it electric, bam, there you go.
Yes.
So good.
Which I think he was imitating his wife in that skit too, by the way.
Oh yeah, he was channeling her for sure.
Definitely. But yeah, I mean, just even the stuff that they did, like they had a skit where zombies were invading this neighborhood, and he was freaking out because he's like, oh my god, they're gonna eat my brains. And of course the zombies were racist and they didn't want to eat a black man's brains. But without that ending bit, I'm like, that was a decent zombie flick, man. Thank you.
So it's the same thing with the skit that they had where he has the hoodie that makes him a white guy.
Yeah.
Like, that felt like a scene from Get Out for a long period there where you're like, oh no, this is going to turn bad. And then he puts up the hoodie and it makes him look like a white guy. Like, that is so good.
Exactly. He's been workshopping, Get Out for a long time. Just undercover. And it's great.
He's just been like, you can just tell. I mean, that's why he was so good right out the gate, because he's just been studying for years.
Right.
And years and years, and workshopping he's got this figured out, man.
Yeah.
There's something special about him and the projects that he creates.
Yeah, and I'm glad he's finally getting his chance to shine.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost sickening though, like that. Like, you're like, God, you're so good. Like, you know how there's that like every once in a while there's that person.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I almost hate you because you're so good. You're so damn talented, and I'm mad that I can't steal it from you almost. Like that, like it's that, but I have to admire you,
That professional jealousy. I totally get it.
Yeah. No, totally. I don't see how anyone couldn't be, in awe and jealous as hell of his talent.
Right.
And his new movie, like I think there was a new trailer for that.
Oh man, I must have missed that. I didn't see that, but
it might have been the same trailer. I don't know, but Us is the new movie that's coming out next month.
I'm excited.
Very soon, yeah.
Yeah.
That one is another one that I'm like, okay, you just gave me a little taste of it. I don't want any more. I just want to see it.
There was an ad for Pampers, called Stinky Booty Duty. Did you see that one?
No.
It had John Legend in it. Yeah, John Legend.
I heard about this, but I didn't watch
changing
it.
the baby's diaper. You know, I got kind of annoyed with Adam Levine showing up at every single black person's function or gathering and
We're
basically
cool with black people. Yay!
having to insert himself in there. What a trash fire that halftime show.
What's interesting is I thought it was going to be just like any other halftime show that's split. You have a bunch of people going, oh, that was great. And then you'd have a bunch of people going like, no, man, like Lady Gaga was better. Like we should have gone back to Lady Gaga, it should have been Rihanna. Like she was up for it. She didn't get it. Like, which should have been Rihanna. She was up for it and she turned it down. But whatever. Yeah. But, she did because of Kaepernick. She got that job.
That's right.
And she or she was offered it and she said no, or at least that's the story. She was like, nope.
Yeah.
Which good for her. And then it was kind of like no one wanted it kind of situation, like, and it ended up being Maroon 5. But it's shocking how it's nearly universal. Everyone was like, that was a shit show.
Because it was just slapdash. Like, so we had SpongeBob. And then immediately after SpongeBob.
What was that? I know that he died. I know that it's like, that was just weird.
Yeah, it was weird, but it became an internet thing.
Maybe the way they did it.
And they were, the internet was begging for it to happen. They wanted to see SpongeBob because there's some song from the show that everybody liked. Side note about SpongeBob. I was talking to Dee about this last night. I've never seen one episode of SpongeBob, but I know so many facts about fucking SpongeBob. I don't know.
Never seen one episode? That's kind of surprising.
I know, because I love cartoons. But you know what? SpongeBob came out during like my dark period of animation where I was like, you know what? I am mature and I don't have to watch cartoons anymore. Then I came to my senses, obviously. But yeah, that was around that time. I remember seeing the intro for SpongeBob and I'm like, haha, nope. And I walked out of the room that my cousins were in because it was at some family gathering. I'm like, I'm going outside. Goodbye.
Well, that was what, 99, 2000?
Yeah, exactly.
So you were not at the age where
I was not the core demographic there. I was just graduating from high school rather, and I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I was 7, 8.
Yeah. Oh, so that was right up your wheelhouse then.
Right. So I did. SpongeBob was one of the last ones though. Like it was catching me at the tail end because I became that person early. Where I was like, I'm done with this shit. Like smoking a cigarette.
I am a little tired of cartoons. But okay, so going back to the whole
specifically being like no to Halloween anymore. I'm done with it. Like
oh my goodness. So okay, back to the Adam Levine thing. So yeah, we got SpongeBob, but then we got Travis Scott right after that. And first of all, I don't know who Travis Scott is. Because apparently
I don't know either. I even texted you. I said, "Who is this?"
And I'm like, I don't know.
Is he local? Is he a local dude?
I mean, he's a name. Like I've heard his name before, but I've never heard his music before. You know, he's just one of those guys. I'm not gonna lie.
You just said Travis Scott, and I thought you were talking about the drummer from Blink-182.
Thank you. Yeah.
It took me a second to realize that you were talking about this rapper that was in the halftime show.
Every time I hear that name, I think about a country music singer because that sounds like a country music name.
Yeah.
I mean,
it does. That is pure country.
Yeah. So besides that, I guess he's dating Kylie Jenner, or they're engaged or married or something.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Look, I have to ask you this.
Okay.
Because this might be a guy thing. This might be a thing.
I'm ready for it.
What in the world would make you want to put your dick in any of them? like the insanity of that family and the shit all around them.
Oh my God.
Why?
I mean, I'm sure they're very nice people. Because it's the same reason. I don't know, man. I don't know. They're on TV. They're famous. It's like this. Okay. All right. So from a completely, just, vapid, self-centered point of view,
okay.
You're going to be famous. If you hook up with a Kardashian, that is instant celebrity.
Look, I understand that.
Yes.
I'm just saying, like, what level of magic is the pussy in this situation? Like what? I don't
I am not going to follow you down this path.
Look, and it's weird because I know objectively they're attractive, but I find them repulsive.
Sure.
Because of everything around them. Like, I understand that there are girls that are like, I want to be beautiful, like so and so. Like, I don't know all their names, to be honest. Chloe and Kim and
Kylie,
Ashley Simpson.
Sure.
But yeah, no, but like I understand that, but I'm just like, what are you doing? Huh?
I think that some of the trends they set can be dangerous. They set standards for girls and women that are unattainable by normal means, no matter, how hard you set your mind to it. They're just not attainable unless you have millions of dollars. I'm thinking in particular of they had some type of Kylie Jenner challenge because she was getting Botox done to her lips and they were getting bigger and bigger. And so girls were like messing with their lips with some type of suction.
Super young too, wasn't she? Wasn't she only like 18 or something when that was happening? That's
think so.
Up.
It was just on the periphery. That's just the thing, man. These Kardashian women are just always on the periphery of what I'm into. Like when I used to be into Kanye West, it was like, oh, all right, well, he's apparently hooked up with Kim Kardashian. Interesting. Okay, that's great. Okay.
Would you it gets down on one knee? Would you like to merge brands with me?
Basically.
Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, there's got to be something. There's got to be something about them, but I don't see it. And I'm thankful I don't.
I don't either. And that's the thing. Like we were saying, like if they weren't crazy, I would be like, or there wasn't craziness attached to them. I don't want to just label women as crazy, like outright. But like the craziness attached to their family and all that shit. Yeah. Like then maybe I'd be like, oh yeah, they're good looking and everything like that. But like they just, I mean, something about that personality thing, like it just turns them into like Disney stepmother villains looking to me. Like I'm just like, no.
Wow. Yeah. You know what? You're totally right about that. I want to also just kind of point out too, it's like beauty can only take you so far. And I mean that sounds like just a trope. It sounds hackneyed, whatever, but it's it's
speak
interesting.
For yourself, but yeah.
It's interesting how they've come so far just based on their looks. It's like they've surrounded themselves with smart people.
We have to work like really hard by doing nothing. But,
I mean, they don't.
Can't help it if people fall in love with you. Like that's
it's incredible. They're above parody. Like everybody gets made fun of on, SNL.
Yeah.
You rarely ever see the Kardashians being made fun of on SNL, and I don't know why that is. Because it seems like
they have, and they did, especially when they were first, like the show first came out. There was definitely a thing. There's one actress who was, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on her name right now. She was so funny, and she would do like the Kim Kardashian impression, and it was hilarious. But I just don't. Yeah, I was watching How I Met Your Mother the other day.
Okay.
And Kim Kardashian popped up on that.
Holy crap! That's right. I forgot about that.
What? Like I just don't. It's strange to me.
Yeah.
It's very weird. If you're into it, you're into it. Like if that's like your reality show and you like it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe write us and explain like why you like it so that I can understand a little bit more. Like you've listened to this enough now. If you're listening to this right now, like I will listen to that. Like I'll be like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Like I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't vilify them at all. I think about how they've really made a a brand for themselves by
I
surrounding
kinda feel
themselves
like
with.
that because okay, wait,
Uh-huh.
because I have no problem with you making money and making a brand of yourself, but
Sure.
just like you said earlier, if that brand is detrimental to the well-being of others, especially young, impressionable girls, then I do have a problem with you. Like if you're pushing tummy teas or whatever that, make girls sick to their stomach, and that's how you can lose weight, then there's something wrong. Like I don't know. I just think that's wrong.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't care.
I mean, at the
you
end,
know what I mean?
I agree. I don't care. And at the end of the day, what I'm saying is I want morality in a place where, like, there's no morality here. Son.
Yeah.
Oh, you shouldn't go there. Like, it's like that Stephen King where it's like, don't go up that hill, Pet Cemetery. Like, there's nothing good up there. Like, no, I'm barking up the wrong tree here.
Man, yeah, I don't know. I'm saying I don't care, but
okay. So
well, let me clarify real quick, and then we can go back. But
sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
I don't care about what they do. I care about the effect, like you said, that they're having on the well-being of society.
I agree, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care about what you do personally, except for the impression that you could make when you're trying to, make your money. Which your money, go for it. But
to go way back to what we were talking about before, I mean, people get down on Kim for how she got famous, but I mean, realistically, she's the highest paid adult film actress of all time. So that's
I don't care about that. Like I think that picking on whatever. I'm not gonna go after her for that. Like that's bullshit. That's like going like I don't care about that. Like I mean let me rephrase that. I don't know. Was that tape leaked without her consent?
Initially it was, but then they got the rights
so I
to
do
it
care
and they
about
published
that in the
it
sense
through.
That like it was violation of her. Like in that sense, I care about it that way, and that way I'll defend her all day, because that's just wrong. Like that's what I was trying to get at. Like some things are wrong, and we all need to accept that. Like that's not a gray area. That's fucked up. And that's one of those things. It's like I would never go after her for that too. I know you're the same way. Where you're just like no, don't go after her for that. That's dumb. Like
sure. And it's such a weird flex, with Ray J and everything, trying to be like, oh, yeah, man, I got her first. Here's a tip, guys. Most women that you've slept with have slept with someone before you.
That's a lie. I don't believe it.
I mean...
Always Neil Armstrong right here.
That's it.
Number one.
Do you know how boring it would be having sex with people that have had no sex before?
I'm well aware.
Oh,
okay.
Man. I mean,
That's that old joke about like, you get all these virgins in heaven or whatever. It's like, who wants virgins? Give me the lady of the night that knows what she's doing. Like, I couldn't think of the word.
Yes.
It's sex worker. That's it.
Sex workers,
Lady of the night, but sex worker I believe is the PC one. If I'm wrong,
Lady of the night it's such an old school phrase.
Oh, did I not reveal that I'm 80 years old?
Lady of the night.
I'm trapped in a 26-year-old body, but I'm actually like 150 fucking years old. Yeah, guys, I'm old as shit.
It's the sequel to Freaky Friday.
Yeah.
Women of ill reputes.
I just switched bodies with an angry old man. Like, that's what happened. Aging into my personality.
Oh, man. You can't be around canes because you always want to shake them. Oh, man.
At the sky.
At the sky.
So, were you surprised that we didn't get anything Star Wars? Like, trailer?
Not really, because I think
because it comes out this year.
Yeah, you're right. But the stank is still on Star Wars right now. We're not going to get anything Star Wars until Star Wars Celebration, I believe. Star Wars Celebration takes place in April, right here in Chicago, Illinois. Cheap pop.
Not an ad, not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. But shout out to Reed Pop for making great conventions, though. Shout out.
Not a sponsor. You don't get our shout out.
Reed Pop, look, let me tell you about Reed Pop.
Just kidding.
Oh man, but things that rhyme with...
They throw great conventions, man.
They do. Famously, you've been to one, which is the only time we were photographed together. All the way back.
Because you indeed decided not to take pictures when you were down here at MegaCon.
We did. We took one awkward picture of all our friends.
You took pictures of everyone else, and you guys weren't in it. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, whatever.
Not at all.
Sorry,
not at all.
Not the point.
Nope. So Travis Scott.
So you don't. Yeah, okay.
So Travis Scott performed directly after SpongeBob, and my point about that was going to be, they took something so wholesome as SpongeBob SquarePants, Nickelodeon's golden boy, and then they put on Travis Scott, who cannot speak 5 words without swearing.
That was ridiculous. Dude, you're going to be on the Super Bowl. Cut it out for one day.
All right. So famously, I've talked about this in other places, but one of my favorite things is the radio edit of rap songs, especially ones that are filthy. So DMX with his song, not
give it to you.
Yeah, not that one. No. Which is it?
No, I said Lex. Never mind.
No, I get. Okay. So yes, but the other one.
Wait, do you not understand that I made a terrible joke? No. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So y'all gonna make me lose my mind. That song in particular, up in here. That one in particular, he's got so many different ways of masking the swear words in there. Whoever edited that is a genius, because it makes the edited version so much more entertaining than just the album version, the explicit version, you know?
I agree with the appreciation for these, how they can work around it. Because that is a skill, man.
It really is. It's kind
of lost too, because a lot of now we have XM and stuff like that, where you don't really have to make clean versions anymore. I don't think.
It's surprising, because when I'm at work, I have to find the non-explicit version of albums on Spotify.
Why?
And I
We're
know.
all adults.
Yeah, but that's not my brand. I'm the clean cut guy at work. Obviously on here I'm not, but at work I haven't sweared in 15 years. Clean cut guy
on here too. Come on.
Okay, fine. But on Spotify, funny enough, they're still making clean versions of albums. Like every Run the Jewels album has a clean version. I had no idea until I started having a look.
That is wow.
It seems like a waste of time.
I agree.
Close your eyes and count to fuck. How do you do that song as a clean version?
I don't know. That's weird, man. I guess it's people want to listen with their kids and stuff.
Yeah, let's sing along, kids, to Run the Jewels. RTJ all day, every day.
I don't know. People get I always feel like it comes back to a religious thing or something, because my brother was talking about that years ago, how they, him and my sister-in-law were like, yeah, we can't listen to anything on the radio that isn't we're into country right now because the kids and then they were like, country's gotten too dirty, and now they just listen to Christian music. So I get in the car and I'm like, I'm dying. I'm gonna die.
Country is just rap with a different inflection now.
No. The Christian music.
Oh, yeah.
It's a country. I'm not a huge fan of country either. Very specific. I don't think I like any male country stars except for Johnny Cash. All female vocals, and then it's a select few, and it's more on the pop side. So I love Dixie Chicks. I even went to a Dixie Chicks concert, which is shocking for me, because I'm just not into a lot of country. But it's usually I'm it's got to be female vocal. It's got to skew a little bit more towards pop for the most part. But but listening to religious music, it gives me the heebie-jeebies, and that's because of my own stuff.
No, I feel you, and Christian music is a little odd too, because it's trying to put you in a very specific type of mind frame, and it's just. A lot of music allows you to make that choice for yourself, but Christian music is no, you're thinking about God all the time. Yeah, 100%.
The only one that I remember liking, and I still like, was Switchfoot, because you could listen to their songs and you're like, oh, this is just a love song. It wasn't It wasn't like, Lord, raise me. I'm like, oh God, no, what is this? It would always, and then they'd have like, speaking of, you're talking about clean versions, they do the parody. Like, or basically parody. So like, they had like a Christian Eminem. I don't remember what Eric knows who this is, because I talked to Eric about this. He knows all of these because he's Christian, and you know, he grew up in that so I don't remember who this guy is, but it's so bad. He did like a stan, like I'm gonna see if I can find it and send it to you, but like, it is insane.
Wow. Yeah. I know that there have been attempts at Christian rap so many times over the years. It's almost hilarious. But yeah, I remember Switchfoot. They dared you to move. I remember that.
It's KJ52.
KJ, yes, I remember this guy. KJ52.
The song's name is Dear Slim. And there's pictures with him, and he's got the blonde hair and everything, because they did a whole parody music video. And I remember them showing us this in like, because we used to have to go to Wednesday, like, chapel, like, every week. And it was like evangelical, like, type of situation.
We also had chapel on Wednesdays. Wow, was that just like the day for chapel?
Did you go to a Christian school?
I went to a Christian school all throughout my my grammar school career, and then I went to Catholic school for high school.
I did not know this about you. And guys, this is
breaking news.
First of all, I would say Catholic school, because my brother went to a Catholic school.
Okay.
High school as well. Not for middle and all that. But like, he had a really good experience in Catholic high school. I don't know if yours was good. I've heard a lot of good things about Catholic high schools, mostly because they're kind of like universities a lot of the time if it's up north.
Okay. Well, I gotta tell you, I actually lucked out when I went to Catholic school, because my first 2 years of high school, I went to a Lutheran school, which is now closed, Luther South. So I went there, and then by the time I got to De La Salle Institute, right here in Chicago, Illinois, for my junior year, they had already gotten through all the Catholic stuff. So I didn't have to take hardly any of the boring religion classes. I got to take the fun religion classes that teach you about other world religions and just different stuff like that. Yeah, like psychology. Oh, I used to love those classes. I'm like, this is so fun. Why can't we talk about this sort of stuff all the time?
I'm debating when I switch over to my university here, because apparently they have a professor who's like knows his shit on Judaism and stuff. I'm debating minoring in religion because I love it so much, and like that kind of, you know, that everything to it. But yeah, so like that's okay. So that's really interesting. So chapel on Wednesdays. I don't know if, so was it also your high school?
Yeah.
Wednesdays? Okay. So maybe it came from that. I mean, obviously a lot of, so the schools that I went to numerous schools. When I got into high school, I went public high school, but like through most of my middle school and everything like that was these private, and they called them non-denominational schools, but they were evangelical, like Southern evangelical.
I'm remembering this wrong. I'm sorry. We had on Friday, at Emmanuel, we had chapel, but in high school at Luther South on Wednesdays, and also at De La Salle.
That makes more sense, because Friday would be like a mass type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes more sense. So okay, yeah. So and then like Lutheran would be okay. So they would play these videos, and it would just be parodies like that. And I was the kid that like, you know, I always had my CD player, and then I switched over to MP3 player, those old bricks that were like, it holds a whole gig. Like
a whole gig. You can put 10 songs on these bad boys.
And it was not like it was like 100 songs. And that was the thing, because like a CD could only hold 10 songs, you know?
Fancy.
And you were like, oh, and like, of course it was not an iPod. Like, iPods were out, but I could not afford that. Like,
oh no.
So I had my brick. I think I still have the brick too. Somewhere around. I keep old tech like that because I'm a nerd. And I'm also lazy when it comes to reselling them. But I remember just sitting there, and it was like torture for me just to deal with it. And it's not like, It always sounds like I'm bashing Christianity on this. You're in
I'm
gonna
meet you halfway, because when I was in the Catholic school, we had a retreat, and it was basically where I should also mention I went to an all boys Catholic school. So
I mean that was assumed in my mind, but
yeah, I just want to clarify for everybody else.
Know that. Well, a lot of people might not know that. So typically, at least in the North, Catholic schools are like, this is where my cousins and my brother went to as well. There's the boys and then the girls' school, and then usually those two schools will come together for like plays and what's it called? Dances and social events. They will be like the brother-sister school to each other, but they are always separate.
Yeah, we didn't even have a sister school.
Keep the Holy Spirits between you.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It was so severe. We didn't even have a Catholic school, or sister school rather. We had to poach Catholic school girls from Maria High School, which was the sister school of St. Rita, and it was kind of funny because around De La Salle at that time, it was like projects, like Chicago projects,
shit.
like straight up scary projects over there. And so my friend Liz, who was dating a friend of mine, she would come through on the train after school from Maria High School, from Marquette Park, which is also dangerous, all the way over to Luther South. Or not Luther South, rather, De La Salle. I'm getting mixed up now. But yeah,
this is literally all gibberish to me. You could be a dolphin squeaking right now, and it would sound the same.
Here's where it all comes together. Tiny girl, Catholic school outfit, just like that character from Men in Black that Will Smith shot, because he's like, this is weird for her to be in this environment. Will Smith would have shot Liz. Because she did not belong.
I was taking a drink of my tea when you said that. Will Smith would have shot Liz.
He totally would have shot her thinking she was an alien, because she did not belong in that environment. But she braved that shit because she was hardcore and she came to see her boyfriend after school. That's love. Right there.
That is love. That's beautiful.
Love. She did not care.
That's awesome. So wait, now, so now that you've started this, we're pretty much abandoning notes because I don't give a shit. I'm more interested in this. So, totally. Did Dee, because I knew you knew your wife, did she also go to a private school like that? Because you knew her as kids.
Yeah, we went to the same grammar school. We went to Emmanuel Christian School, and we hung out a lot. She came in 7th grade, and I was in 7th grade. She was in 6th grade. Because she's a year younger than me. That's right. Boom. So
flex,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, word. So we didn't date back then at all, but we were really good friends. And she would come to different like plays and improv shows that I would have in high school, along with some of our other friends. And we were just always kind of like in the same circle until the circle dispersed and we were the only two left. And then we hooked up. So yes.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you hooked up in high school?
No. Well after high school.
Okay.
Yep. I was respectful. I'm a good bro. I'm a good friend, and I'm a respectful gentleman. I didn't shoot my shot well until we were adults.
Yeah. No. I feel like it's funny because that story is very similar to like a lot of people in my family have stories like so like my grandmother was the same way with my grandfather. Like they grew up together. Like they were neighbors. Their parents were like best friends. And then it was like, she's 18, he's 17. We want to get married.
Wow.
And so like my great grandfather had to go like with them to get the marriage license because my grandfather was 17. And so like they had known each other their whole life. They've known they have always been intertwined like in their lives. And then her sister, her youngest sister, she went off and got married. She had her high school sweetheart, and she went off and married another guy, and he went off and married another girl, and they both got divorced. And then years later, they got remarried. Like 25 years ago, they got married to each other. Like they were apart for all those years, and then they got back together, and they've been married ever since.
I mean, I totally skipped that part, but that happened too. Like I got married, and Dee.
Well, you don't have to talk about that.
I mean, I don't mind. You know, it's reality.
What's her name?
I'm sure she's doing fine. She's very happy. She's remarried now. She's got a kid of her own. So
we don't give
it's
a shit.
Cool.
Let's scorch this earth.
I wish peace and joy to everyone. Mostly everyone. But her. She's fine. She's good.
I'm just kidding. I don't even know this person. I know like one story, and I'm just like, no, burn her.
You would just ride or die for D. I appreciate that.
Oh my God, you messaged me the other day. Yeah, Matt messaged me the other day. He's like, D left me, and of course I know he's playing, but like he was like, to go for the weekend. But like before he could say to go away for the weekend, I was like, what did you do?
Right.
What did you do?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, why did you assume that I did something wrong? I'm like, well, I said it then. I'll say it again now, which is you married up. Don't fuck it up. Like,
I mean, you're right. I can't argue with that. Cannot argue with that. So we, saw each other again and everything. I was going through some hard times, after that whole first time dispersed, and she was there for me, and we got closer, and things happened, and here we are.
Happily ever after.
Happily ever after.
Yeah, no, my brother and sister-in-law.
And BMO makes
same way,
three.
like knowing each other in high school, and then they stayed together in college, and then when he went off to boot camp, and like they were together through all of that, and then they got married, 23, something like that. And they've been married since. They've been together. They have now officially been together longer than they have not together.
Man,
as far as
shout out, shout out to the people that stay together through college and being away from each other for that long. Like that's metal. That is, I'm not metal, M-E-T-A-L, like M-E-T-T-L-E. That is amazing. The ferocity of the love is just
he went off
incredible.
To boot camp, dude, and like 9/11 happened when he was in boot camp.
Wow.
And she was like in it, like completely. He was in it completely, and then he ended up, getting injured, unfortunately, and like had to come back, and he kind of had to reevaluate his life. So he went to college, and she was hours away at another college, and it would just be like, I go visit her, she visits me, like, and then waited until they were like, basically, if I remember correctly, it was one of them, I think it was her, graduated like the week before they got married. So they waited to get married until they could like actually start their lives together. Graduated from college, I mean. So like, it's just one of those things like, they were in, in through thick and thin kind of thing, like for better or worse already. It's shocking to me. But yeah, I have all these stories in my family, and then I'm like, and then there's little old me.
Because yours is going to be the best story of all. I cannot wait to witness it firsthand. It's going to be amazing.
I'm going to die alone.
No, man. No. It ain't happening.
No. It was so funny because I was reading Saga this week, and it was, oh my God, it was like, please send me someone to fuck. And it was I posted it on our Insta, and it was the funniest shit that I have read in a long time. I literally like burst out into laughter reading it. It was so good. But no, like it's just one of those things that, so I think that, and I don't know, this is something to keep in mind maybe if you guys have kids down the line or whatever, but like when you have relationships like that, in your life that are like, those are the relationships you look to. And then the other relationships are just tornado terrible. My mother, who I will not speak of, on this podcast, but like, she's on her fourth marriage. That is very, like, multiple marriages is very common on her side. There have been divorces on my father's side as well, some very bad ones. So it's either like, there's not a lot of the well-wishing, like, like my dad is super cool. So like, when his marriage failed, like, like all those things went wrong. He's still so kind and everything like that. And I love that. Like, it's very similar to how you are in that way. But it's one of those things that's like, oh my God, it's one way or the other. It's either a shit tornado or it's you have to get it when you're 17.
Now, hear
in
me
my
out.
mind. And so to me, I go, oh no, it's nothing or shit tornado. Like that, but like that's not how it works for most people. But
Exactly.
It's just weird when you see it happen so many times. It's just it's something weird in your brain. So like, I kind of try to like when it's my I think about it now with my nieces and nephews as they're growing older, and I'm like, we're gonna have to like tell them that like it doesn't always happen that way.
Because let me give you this. So it's like this. So basically, you're gaining experience. If I can equate it to a video game, it's like you're gaining experience points. To bring it back to a normal spot now. You never hear about the ones that just fizzle out. You never hear about the amicable breakups. Or
I know it's sad because there are a lot of people that have those breakups that are good.
Exactly. Like, you never hear about the ones where folks went out 2 or 3 times and then just discovered, oh, you know what, I like them, but I don't like them like that, because those aren't the entertaining stories. Those, there's no arc there. So we only hear about the trash fires. And when you hear about the trash fires, you think about them as cautionary tales. But what's happened to me, I can speak to this from personal experience. So I've dated women that have taught me things about myself. I've learned what I like. I've learned what I dislike. I've learned the type of person that I like to see in the mirror. And being with someone that I love that helps to bring that out of me is a joy.
Yeah.
Now, thankfully, I'm with a life partner now that I know I can see somebody in the mirror. I can see someone in her eyes that I appreciate and that I respect.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen for everybody, immediately. And it didn't happen for us immediately. I mean, it took years for us to get to this place to even acknowledge that, there was even a spark of love there.
And it takes work too.
And it takes
even when you
definitely
get
it takes
in
work. Yeah, because she basically had to pull me out of borderline depression and getting over a divorce. So,
yeah.
I mean, I give her all the credit in the world for, basically rebuilding me. Just from nothing.
Well, she had the technology, so.
She did. She made me faster. Not at all. Not faster, but, I'm rounder.
That's good tech.
Yes, but what I'm getting at is this. It's like all the relationships, and Dee and I have discussed this before, all the relationships that she's had, that I've had, with some very distinct exceptions, they made us who we are today. And if not for those wonderful people, we wouldn't be the people who we are now that love each other. So,
100%. I watched did you ever watch the Robin Williams documentary that was on HBO
I still
last year?
I still haven't watched it yet.
Okay. So there was something in that documentary that was really, really beautiful. That was his first wife. Mm-hmm. I don't remember her name, and I apologize for that. So she was talking about their marriage, and then it ended with, them divorcing, and if I'm not mistaken, it was like he wasn't faithful at the end. So it wasn't necessarily even the cleanest split kind of situation. Sure. And he had addiction issues and all kinds of, so that's a whole separate thing, but the thing that I took away from it, that I had never heard anyone articulate in that way, that I thought was so beautiful, was she was saying, I'm grateful for the journey that we took together.
That's awesome.
It didn't have to last forever. She was like, it didn't, it wasn't meant to last forever, whatever, but oh man, what a beautiful ride we took together. Yeah. You dipped in and then you dipped out and then you did separate things. Right. It was, and it was weird because it's funny because just in the last year, it almost reset my brain into not viewing end as failure. Right. It's weird how one person can articulate something in a completely different way, and people can tell you time and time again that the end of that marriage or whatever is not a failure. It just it ended. A lot of things end. Whatever. You can say it tons of different ways, but until I heard it that way, it never clicked for me. And then I heard that and I was like, oh my God, it's just almost like this Robin Williams documentary just changed the way I view relationships.
Yeah. I mean, that makes perfect sense. It's like mourning. You know, you don't have to look at it as a failure. You can see it as like you said, an ending.
Yeah.
And I mean, you don't have to restart right away. Obviously people who, do something like Robin Williams did kind of, play two games at once. But, you can just take time, rediscover who you are.
Don't cheat on people. That ain't right. Don't do it.
Nah, you probably shouldn't do that.
Avoid it if possible.
Avoid it, don't put yourself in those situations.
Yeah.
Be smart with the heart. See what I did there? See what I did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Can we not?
That's my first t-shirt. T-shirt number 1, Matt's t-shirt, be smart with the heart. Yes. That's
no,
one.
I thought in the middle of the back it says, can we not?
Yeah. All right, fans, somebody make that shirt.
No, oh my God, Matt, we have to make our own shit.
I love it.
You so dumb.
Okay.
All right.
So with that abrupt cheeseballness that I inflicted upon us, we can go back to our notes.
All right. Let's talk about this Netflix stuff. What is this Netflix thing you were talking about?
Yeah, so trigger warning with Killer Mike. Killer Mike, actually, this was what I was going to
I don't know who this is.
This is what I was going to do my transition from our Super Bowl conversation. Because within...
Superb Al, continue.
Superb Al, yes.
We don't have any money.
That's true. The big game, as they say. Because within this performance that Adam Mayonnaise Levine put on, he featured
Captain Wonderbread.
He featured one member of Outkast, not both of them, just one, and not even the bigger member of Outkast. No, he featured Big Boy.
He must not have wanted to show up.
Actually,
like, no, I'm out.
Realistically, Andre 3000 has crippling performance anxiety.
Oh, really?
And it's only gotten worse. So that's why you never really see them perform anymore, and why he's always wearing sunglasses on stage or just looking kind of just jittery when he's up there. That's why. Yeah. So even still, I feel like they could have just had him come out for one song, bing, bang, boom, go back to the back. But no, Adam Levine.
That's a big crowd, man. That's a lot to ask of someone.
Crowd. But it's also really dark. Anyway.
Yeah.
Adam Levine took it upon himself to sing over Sleepy Brown doing the hook to I Like the Way You Move.
I know.
That's his one thing that he does. I mean, you go sing over Sleepy Brown and then shoo him off the stage. Get out of here, man. So,
Put your shirt back on.
There's a collective of rappers, rap artists from Atlanta, known as the Dungeon Family. And the Dungeon Family is comprised of both members of Outkast, the Goody Mob, is CeeLo Green, who was part of the Goody Mob, and
isn't CeeLo Green canceled? No,
I don't know. And then Killer Mike. Now, Killer Mike started out as part of the Dungeon Family. He's got that really southern type of drawl when he performs and everything like that. But he's very, very just spot on with his words, with his performing. So over the years, he kind of faded to the background. He was still working hard, still trying to do his come up. But then he hooked up with LP. And with LP, the producer, LP is short for El Producto, they became the rap duo of Run the Jewels.
Okay.
So for those not familiar with Run the Jewels, they do a lot of socially conscious music. They talk about having a good time, of course. They rap about, smoking, drinking, and all that stuff. But they also talk about the uneven jailing of black men in America. They talk about all these injustices.
So it's just conversations.
It's kind of conversations, but it's with a beat,
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's straight up rap music, and it's great. They even hook up with Rage Against the Machine for some of their stuff sometimes. Just that type of socially aware type of music. So Netflix, who is giving everybody a show right now, actually hit one out of the park with Killer Mike. They gave him a show called Trigger Warning, and in this show, he offers a lot of his opinions and a lot of his takes on different things, and he brings them to the forefront. He plays them out completely. So on the first episode of Trigger Warning, which is a 6-episode miniseries for now, he basically makes a statement that, I'm always talking about supporting black businesses and only buying black and stuff like that. I'm going to try this and see how long I can go. So he looks at his tour schedule. He's talking to his manager. He's like, all right, I got 3 days until I have to go and do this show. I'm going to try to last 3 days just completely living off of black-owned businesses and black-owned products. It was not as easy as one would think. Not even in Atlanta. So, first things first, he had to give up his phone. Couldn't have an iPhone anymore.
Oh, yeah.
So he had to find another phone producer that was based in America, owned by black folks. So, I mean, just from there, it's like he was traveling. He couldn't find a black car service, so he had to walk. He had to bike. He's a big dude. So this was like a thing for him. He's going grocery shopping. He had to find a black-owned grocery store, which was not easy in his neighborhood. Yeah. So he's starving, basically. LP met up with him for a little bit on the episode. They finally found, at their tour stop, they found a barbecue place that was owned by black folks. They're about to tear into it, and the LP reminds him, he's like, well, wait a minute. Where did these products come from? Where did the pigs come from? He's like, please tell me this is from a black-owned farm. And he's like, sorry, bro, no. Mm-mm.
Oh,
like,
no.
Like, this is straight up Purdue. Like, oh, no. So he's hungry. He can't eat anything. He can't smoke because he can't buy weed off of people that are not black, and he couldn't find any black folks dealing. So, yeah.
And where was this grown?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Wow. That's fascinating.
It really is. And it's, it's not done in a depressing way or anything. It's done in a very, approachable, educational sort of way. Killer Mike is a very engaging individual. He's named Killer Mike not because, he's about murdering people or anything like that. It's because basically, growing up, he had a reputation of getting into rap battles, and he would just completely destroy the other person. So they started calling him Killer Mike because he was a killer on the mic. So yeah, it worked out. Yeah, so in the second episode, which is actually my favorite of the series, and then, we can move on to something else. But the second episode, he talks about the Hells Angels, and he talks about the hypocrisy and the fact that America basically accepts this. We had a show, Sons of Anarchy, based on that lifestyle of the biker gang, and he's talking about, hey, if the Hells Angels can sell t-shirts at Walmart and make money off of that, then how come the Crips can't do the same thing? The Crips and Bloods can't do the same thing. So he approaches
you can buy Hells Angels merch?
Oh yeah, it's
trademarked. A thing?
That's a thing. And they're making money off of it. So
I did not know this.
He's like, how come the Crips can't do the same thing? So he goes and approaches a local group of Crips. And he discusses with them like, hey, let's talk about some business ideas. So long story short, by the end of the episode, they end up producing their own cola flavor called Cripa-Cola. And they're selling it. And he even got the Bloods involved too. So they have their own pop now too called Blood Pop.
Is it red?
It's red.
Oh.
And so not only did he bring these two gangs to a point where they can actually market and produce their own product, they were making it themselves in the kitchen, in their respective kitchens, of course. He got them to basically call a ceasefire, and they sold this product at a farmer's market and made a lot of cash.
Oh my God! So
they own the rights to the
sweetest thing ever.
It's like so triumphant seeing all this come together. They go to this market research group and they're trying to kind of get them involved. Like, okay, how can we market this? How can we market this product? What will make you want to buy this product? And the folks have already tasted it. They're like, oh, it's so good. This is the best pop I've ever had.
So now I have. Can you buy Bloods and Crips together? Can you buy a 4-pack and half of it's blue and half of it's red? And what if you want a Latin Kings? What do you do?
See,
is that a shot?
I don't think the Latin Kings are on board yet, but who knows?
Just
but with the
Bloods
and Crip sodas, they have a friendly rivalry now, trying to see who can sell the most.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. So they share shelf space equally.
Okay.
And you can buy 4 packs of each at your local grocer in Atlanta.
I'm not buying any of those.
No. Well, I like pop and I like cola, so I would definitely drink some Crippin' Cola.
I would argue it's far more acceptable for you to go into a store and buy Bloods and Crips soda than it is for little old me to go into Atlanta and be like, let me get these Bloods. Like, what?
I implore you to watch this show. It is so entertaining. Okay. It is so fun. And it is so just like it starts a conversation. What I like about Killer Mike is that his thoughts and his feelings about, life in general, it doesn't lie on one side or the other of the aisle. He's, got diverse ideas about everything. So while some would mark him as a Democrat, he is pro-gun ownership. He is all about self-sustaining. He is all about, making sure that how to arm yourself, in case of emergency. So it's interesting to see that
he's a person, like he's not an ideology.
Exactly, he's a person. People have different opinions about things. Yeah,
I think that's what's really difficult nowadays, and it's always fascinating to see that on the screen or whatever. So now I'm definitely intrigued by this, and I always love like documentaries and that kind of style. But yeah, I mean that's the thing. When you look at our culture, the average person, you can sit down and talk to them most of the time, and you can be like, like I was having discussion with more conservative family member, and I was like, all right, let's talk about this border wall. Like, let's talk about that. Did you know that like Democrats want to, increase security and use like drones and stuff like that to man the border? And it's like, oh no, I didn't know that, because we need to do something. Like that's what they're saying. Like we need to do something. And I was like, okay, well, what do you think about this something? Oh, well, that's reasonable. I'm like, okay.
And here we are.
Yeah, let's like, okay, well then you don't need a wall. Like, you don't need this thing, like when this other thing works really well, but we're living in such a polarized time. And, I always love things like that because they get discussions going. Sometimes it can turn on you real quick. But did you ever watch This Is Life with Lisa Ling?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was another good show that like you can sit down, you can watch it, and then you can have these discussions about like, like one of them was is it Church of Satan? There's different names for these, but they're their own thing, and it's like, they face all of these problems from religious groups because they're like, you shouldn't have your religious iconography on federal, a courthouse or something like that. But if you're going to insist that it's there, we should have our statue as well, or something along those lines of like for full equality. And then, of course, people meet them with, anger and violence and everything like that. It's just, and then you get into those discussions of like, oh, is this a religion? Is this not? Like, I've had a lot of really good discussions just from that show alone. So I feel like Killer Mike, that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. Now, of course, it is a Netflix show and it is TVMA. So there's going to be some hard, nudity in there. So just when you're watching it. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I assumed language and everything like that.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was going and expecting too. But like,
sold.
Man, like, all right. So you remember how I was talking about how he only wanted to support black businesses and black store owners and black people in general. So he frequents a strip club, and he had to send certain dancers away because he's like, oh no, baby, I can't give you any money tonight. Because I'm only supporting black women, so push on.
Oh, man.
Yep. He was just like...
That's kind of cool, though.
He was upfront about it, like, hey, this is, respectfully,
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, now I'm like, I didn't realize you could film in real strip clubs like that.
I think he has a special deal with this one club, because...
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you can do that without blurring.
He might be a part owner of this club, and I'm sure they had to sign a lot of documentation to get this done.
Yeah, and every individual, like, has to sign off and everything like that. But that's
definitely. But yeah, I wasn't ready for that. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, well, okay then.
Yeah.
Yeah, this got real.
Yeah. So, anyway, moving on.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited for. See, I'm not into a lot of Netflix shows lately, but like I'm excited for. So I've been watching that show. You, do you know what that show is?
Yeah.
So I've been watching that. I watched like 3 episodes of it, and that show is creepy and good, like really good. So I'm kind of into that, and apparently that's like a Netflix original now. I think it was originally on like Lifetime Network or something.
I think you're right, because I've seen people like, oh, y'all didn't care about it back then, but you care about it now. Like, oh, all right.
That's always bullshit, because like same thing happens with The Good Place and everything like that. Doesn't mean it's not good. It means that you don't have access to it. A lot of people don't have cable. Like,
right, so and everybody's not watching TV at the same time.
Right. Yeah. It's like hierarchy of fandom, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting and good, and I love me some dramas. I love drama on shows, not in real life. And then a little bit in real. Okay, all right.
Come on now.
All right,
a lot
little
of it.
bit.
Yeah.
All the time.
All the time.
I am
nonstop drama.
24/7.
You're like TNT.
Then,
Lex
yes.
knows drama.
Oh my god. Another shirt. We're just cranking out all these shirts tonight. So another one is Big Mouth. Did you see that they're coming out with a Valentine's Day special?
Now, I did see that announcement, but I must admit, I am not up on the Big Mouth.
What?
At all.
Wait, so you watched it, didn't like it, or you haven't seen any of it?
I haven't seen it, because honestly, when I see the previews pop up on Netflix, the art style doesn't really appeal to me, so I haven't really given it a chance yet.
Okay, so the art style is made to look like the actors. Like, so it's like, it's made to look like the main character is Nick Kroll. And so it's made to look like a kid version of him, you know? I was not sold on it or whatever, but I was like, okay, I like the people who were involved with, like, I like Nick Kroll. I like some, I love Jason Mantzoukas. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, he's the best.
Jason Mantzoukas is phenomenal. And his character on the show, he's always fucking a pillow. And like, it's just, I mean, it sounds insane. It is insane. It's all about puberty. It's all about hitting puberty and how it turns you into like, a crazy person, and how weird things become between boys and girls when you hit that age, and and then they have characters who are like gay, who are on the outskirts of like, I don't know where I fit in here, and then it's like, oh, I might be bisexual. Like, and dealing with periods, like the period episode they have, which is in the first season, it might be the second or third, something like that. It is so freaking good. Like, it is, I just think it's one of the best. God, it's got so much heart. It's one of those shows that earlier you're talking about, like, oh, this is like pushing, like, it's different pornography stuff, but like, it's pushing the limits, but like, it's educational.
Yeah.
It's pushing the limits of like what you should be watching, as far as like, oh, you can't make a live action show like this, because it's about preteens and their sexuality. And nobody, like, that's not right. But when you put it in animation, somehow it's okay. Like, I
think part of that too is because you can't really, when you hire actors to portray kids like that in a real show, in a live action show, then it gets weird. Because
yes, absolutely.
There are times when I think about how grown the kids are on Riverdale. And then I think about how, like, not grown the kids are on Freaks and Geeks, because there's like a drastic difference in what high school is on that show and Riverdale.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And you have to keep in mind, a lot of times that's because of several things, like, the casting actors, like, they're like, okay, they have time constraints if they're underage.
Yeah.
And they're usually just not as good of actors. Like,
well, not only that, they want them to fuck. So it's like, yeah, we can't just have these underage kids portraying these sex acts, albeit fake sex acts. No, we're going to get some of-age people who are playing high schoolers with a wink and a nod and have them hooking up nonstop.
Do you ever just every once in a while go, Luke Perry played a teenager on television, and go, how?
He played the most busted teenager I've ever seen. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, if he was an actual teenager, like at a school, you would have parents going, get this kid out of there, something's wrong. Like why is this 25-year-old at our children's school around our babies? Yeah.
Yes. It makes me think of that Steve Buscemi meme where he's like, hello, fellow kids.
Hey,
how do you do, fellow children?
Yeah. I can't, so you can't recommend Killer Mike enough. I can't recommend Big Mouth enough to anyone who hasn't seen it. It's so good. There are 2 seasons out. And they're coming back for a 3rd, and then which will be in the fall. Unless for some reason that changes, but I doubt it will. Because they always end up coming back. I think it's like October, somewhere in that range.
Okay.
But they're coming out with a Valentine's Day special, and they just this is just a complete surprise, and I'm so excited, and it makes me want to go back and just rewatch it again because it's that good. It's one of the best things Netflix is putting out there. Period.
I love Netflix for that fact that they have shows that have specials in between seasons.
Yeah.
You know, or they'll have a mini series in between seasons or something like that.
Because it goes too long.
Definitely. And they realize that. Unless you're Voltron, then it's like, oh, you're done with this season? Next season.
Yeah,
there you go.
But and it makes way more sense with the animation than it does with their live action shows. Like the Stranger Things kids are going to be 30 years old by the time the next season comes out.
It's going to be very awkward to see them going through puberty, but we will see it.
Yeah, I think that they're really fucking up with that one. I think
yeah.
they're taking way too long. They should have accelerated all of these seasons. You know how they are with Sabrina now?
Oh yeah.
How they're like, okay, we've already ordered 3 seasons. Go back into production. Go back into they're being smart about that. They're coming out with the next season or the part 2, whatever. They did a Christmas special. They did season 1 was October, Christmas special, and then spring's the next season. I'm assuming they're going to do the following fall will be the following season. And they'll just keep, putting that out there and then do 5 seasons of it and be good.
That's kind of great. And it's there. Yeah. It's there for people that want to go back and see it again.
Right. You shouldn't be waiting a year for a teen show.
Agreed.
That's way too long. If you've got something like a House of Cards, back when they first started, you've got, Robin Wright and Voldemort, they have scheduling that makes it difficult to get them back there. So you have to kind of work with it, and having a year in between, it's oh, no one's done this except for maybe HBO shows and stuff like that. So it adds a mystery to it. Now it's no, we're sick of it. It's not. It's just it doesn't work, especially for teen shows. Overall, I have a little bit of a problem with the model of it.
Yeah, well, also the actors and actresses get tired. Yeah. I mean, they get tired of
2 years in between each season now. What the hell, man? You can't keep doing that. You're going to lose all of your viewership.
HBO is so lax, or they have been so lax on their shows being scheduled for a certain time. It's hey, all right, thanks for this. Come back when you feel like it.
So I feel like the Game of Thrones final season thing, that makes perfect sense to me. It's big production. It's only 6 episodes. Each episode's probably going to be about 2 hours. So that's a feature-length film.
Yeah.
Every episode. That makes sense that you would take 2 years to do that.
Well, not only that, but Game of Thrones, it's you kind of want the kids to grow up a little bit.
Yeah.
You kind of want to give them time to mature.
And you already gave us 7 seasons. This will be the 8th. Yeah, wow. So I believe you already gave us all of these seasons on a consistent schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So Mad Men also had, for separate reasons, but they also had a gap. But they were already in season 5 or something like that when they had a year off in between. That was because of contract negotiations and issues with AMC. But that, if you give people enough of a thing that's why Westworld and Stranger Things, because they're both on season 2, they both have completed 2 seasons of the show. It doesn't make sense to me to go on that long of a break.
Yeah, it's weird because I think the show that really hit it perfectly was Breaking Bad. because Breaking Bad had a weird release schedule too, but somehow, like in between seasons, it caught fire, like word of mouth. They kept showing all the marathons, and DVR was becoming more readily available, and it was on Netflix. And I think people just really started paying attention. So when it came back for those final couple seasons, they had a ton more viewers than they used to have.
Yeah. No, yeah. And I think,
the
same thing happened with Mad Men when they had that break. I think Netflix was a part of Mad Men growing in popularity during that gap. But it's just the one that really perplexes me. Netflix is doing their normal scheduling, but they're doing it with preteens, which doesn't make any, or teenagers, which doesn't make any sense because they're going to grow way too fast. But the one that really confuses me and honestly concerns me is Westworld. Like, what? Because, and I remember reading an interview with Joy. Is it Lisa Joy?
The showrunner.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about, the showrunner.
And she was talking about, we need time to plan it and write it and everything like that. And that concerns me because I'm like, have you thought the whole show through? Like, do you not know what you're doing from season to season? At this point, to me...
Lisa Joy. That's her name.
Lisa Joy, yeah. So at this point, to me, if you're going into a television show and you don't have every season in your brain for such an intricate show, not for a sitcom or anything like that, but like for such a heavy, intricate show, if you don't have like a show Bible and like all your shit thought out, that's confusing to me. Like, that's very strange.
I really do think that they go in with the best laid plans. They go in with these intentions, but just like Lost, you have actors that leave, contract negotiations, all that stuff. We don't hear about that because that's professionalism, When these contract negotiations are going on and we, the consumer, don't hear about it, that to me is ideal. Okay. But you know what I mean? So with Westworld, though, I don't really feel like that's a valid enough excuse. No, because when you have so many drones and you have so many robots and twists and turns, it's like, dude, just say it was a synth or something like that. Whatever, it's fine.
Also, that is like, not that aside, but like, when Lost came out, not having a plan was okay to a degree because there was nothing else like it. They didn't know they would go on so long. They didn't know. They did like that type of show. That was a revolutionary show, and that type of show wasn't planned out that way. But like and Matt Weiner was the same way with Mad Men, and so was Vince Gilligan with Breaking Bad, where it was like we're kind of breaking the mold. Like there's really only been The Sopranos. Like The Sopranos was the first really big one. And I don't know if the creator of The Sopranos had all of this set out, but like, it's kind of one of those things where it's like the more you look into it, like, okay, Matt Weiner went, okay, I don't know what I'm doing for the whole series, but I know the beginning and I know the end. Matt Weiner knew exactly how he wanted to end Mad Men.
And that's fine for something that's not that high of a sci-fi. That's cool. I don't mind that sort of thing. That's fine. Just like How I Met Your Mother,
Yeah, and Vince Gilligan, that's a whole separate thing. Vince Gilligan was like, I don't know where I'm going with it, but we're just going to write ourselves into a corner and see what happens. Genius. Yeah. Like, that was his type of genius. But, Lost, they went in, they did create a show Bible, they did create these rules and everything like that of like, this is how the world works and this is how we're thinking of, but like, even then I still go like, it's a different ball game now. We have things like Game of Thrones. We have all of these shows that like you're building on the backs of these other shows. And especially like this is supposed to be their flagship show now. Really?
Yeah.
Like isn't Westworld supposed to be the show now? With Game of Thrones going away?
Exactly. They got to hang their hat on something. And it ain't going to be Barry, even though Barry's a great show.
Oh my God. I watched a couple episodes of Barry and like his torturing or whatever, one of the torture scenes that happened, I was like getting nauseous from it. It was so intense. I was not expecting that from that show. But yeah, I agree. It's not going to be Barry. Like, and they're going to try to do this Game of Thrones spinoff. I don't think it's going to work. Just call them.
Yeah, neither do I. And I haven't heard anything about this Civil War reimagining show that they were doing for a while.
I don't think that's going to happen anymore.
Yeah, I think they got enough bad press to kind of back off of that, or at least, rethink the premise a little bit better. Yeah. So, anyway, we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, but I'm like, okay, so Netflix is putting out, so anyway, like, Big Mouth, like, great show, and they can do it forever. Like, that's the beauty of it. Like, they can keep doing it because it's animated, like, they can go on for years, it can go on as long as they wanted to. God knows there's enough, puberty stories that every single writer can come in and go, here's mine, here's my friends, here's, and let's put it on the show. But, like, these live action shows, I don't know, Netflix is dwindling in their content for me. I just don't like it as much as I used to.
I mean, that's why, like, I toyed around with the idea of canceling Netflix because the price went up recently. Yeah. They got rid of Daredevil and Luke Cage and all the other Marvel shows that I do enjoy, and also Iron Fist.
I think a lot of that was out of their control. Iron Fist.
I mean, you know what? I've heard so many varying stories about this. Everybody's blaming the other party. I've heard stories that it was Marvel that wanted to regain control of these characters, but there's something in the contract that states that they can't use these characters for 2 years after the cancellation of the Netflix shows. I've also heard that Netflix claims that the production cost of shows like Daredevil was ballooning out of control, and they couldn't, continue to finance them any longer. But we're getting a show.
I don't believe you on that one. The
Gwyneth Paltrow thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow's getting the show based on her Goop brand.
Did you know she invented yoga?
Did you know she invented putting rocks in your vagina?
Yeah, that's not recommended.
No, not by doctors. Not at all. This has been the Valentine's Day episode, I think, because we've talked a lot about love and sex.
We've talked way too much about it. This is bad. This is I can't wait to go after this and go to bed and just cringe and rethink every single thing I've ever said in my life. Every mistake I've ever made.
Yeah, this show may not make
cringe.
It to air. All right, before we run out of steam, we should probably talk about our graphic novel challenge.
Yes.
So, we have a special announcement for you guys this week. We have our first sponsor.
Just in time for our dirtiest episode yet.
Just in time for our dirtiest episode ever. Yes. So I want to give a big shout out to Third Coast Comics right here in Chicago, Illinois. Terry Gann is the owner over there. He's a great guy, very inviting and engaging. You come into the shop, you don't know what kind of comic you want to read. He'll have a conversation with you, help you figure that out. So as a special offer to our listeners, any book that we've mentioned in our graphic novel challenge this week or in the weeks prior, if you come in and say that you heard about the book on our show, Terry will give you a 10% discount on the graphic novel collection that we mentioned.
That is so cool. It's funny because we were talking about, the graphic novel challenge, and I was like, it'd be cool if we got a shop to sponsor it. And then we had the discussion a few episodes back about comic book shops, and I was like, they're not always the most welcoming environment. And then you were describing this shop to me, and I was like, this sounds amazing. I wish it could be my local shop, but distance just can't. And then it was like this, opportunity for them to be the sponsor of the graphic novel challenge. I was like, this is perfect. Like, this is the type of environment we want comic book fans to be able to go to get their stuff. You go there, you support our show, you support a local shop. It's just a win-win, guys. You get cool comics. Go do it. Go get all the comics.
Definitely. And, this isn't some type of, hey, guys, sort of thing. But I commented years ago to Terry, I don't know why it is, but I've never seen as many women in a comic book shop as I have Third Coast Comics. And he told me it's because, there's no toxic dudes in here because I'll kick them the fuck out, basically. So
100%. That's the best. I love shops like that.
Yeah. So he's all about just creating a welcoming environment for you to enjoy comics, talk about whatever. I always have a good conversation with Terry when I'm in there. Or if you just want to silently look around, that's cool too.
Yeah. Next time I come up there, I gotta go check out the shop because I really want to go there now. It's great. So yeah, guys, go to the shop, support the show, support the shop. It's awesome. All right,
Definitely.
Matt. So what are you doing with your graphic novel challenge this week?
All right. So my graphic novel challenge, I completed Uncle Scrooge, Donald Duck, Library Volume 9 by
that
Don Rosa.
Random as fuck.
I know, but you know what? Let me tell you what it is.
Okay.
I've rekindled my love of Disney Ducks because I grew up watching DuckTales. I grew up loving Darkwing Duck. The video games, of course, DuckTales, the game from Capcom on that original NES, fantastic game. And the comics have just been, stuff of legend. So there's been nothing as consistent as the Duck comics from Disney.
Really?
Whether they're being,
I didn't know about this.
Oh yeah, definitely. So throughout decades, Carl Banks used to be the artist and writer of those. And he had a very distinct style, which Don Rosa, then took on and continued, from the 90s on. And it's just great to see these stories being told. It's funny because.
So is this a current book or is it older comics?
It's older comics mostly, but they're still in publication. And what's great is that, like, in different countries, there's different, comics based on Donald Duck or Uncle Scrooge and the side characters like that. It's funny because, when you think of Disney, you think of Mickey as the mascot. But it seems like the Ducks get so much more attention overseas and, I mean, even really in the States too.
I was
there's
never
just
that
so
into
much lore.
Mickey as much.
Yeah.
Like I really loved Goofy and like the Ducks and everything. Like that was, I don't know why. Like it's just something about them. They're so cute. Maybe that's it.
That's just it. And there's so much lore there too because you have.
Also, my dad does like an amazing Donald Duck impression. And I remember loving that as a kid. And now I see my nieces and my nephew being like, oh my gosh, he made the Donald Duck. Like it's just the best. So it was just like so fun and funny. Maybe that made me like it more.
That's really sweet. Yeah. So, I've really been digging that. Of course, the new DuckTales series is wonderful because it takes what you love about the old DuckTales cartoon and it brings in all the different lore of the comic books. So Donald is a very big part of the show, unlike the original DuckTales where he just like deuced out of there and just said, all right, cool. I'll see you guys later. Maybe in season 2. I don't know. Goodbye. I got to go back to sea. I'm a sailor. So yeah, he's there. He's having adventures with him. There's one episode where Gyro manages to fix his voice.
Oh my gosh.
And all of a sudden he's speaking clearly and he's voiced by Don Cheadle.
Oh, that's so good. I haven't seen any of it. Like the new one?
Yeah, it's worth checking out.
Yeah,
it's got a great arc. It's got great nods to every piece of Duck lore that you've enjoyed over the years. We're talking not only Duck lore, but Disney Afternoon. They name drop St. Canard, Spoonerville, all kind of stuff. They fight Don Carnage on one episode. I was very impressed by that. Yeah. Spoilers. I mean, it's fun. It's a great episode. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. And there is a continuing storyline. And, it's kind of bittersweet too, but the voice actor that played, the butler, Scrooge's butler on the original series, he passed away. So on the newer episodes, they kind of just make him the specter that floats around and like dusts in the hard to reach places and stuff like that. And he never really talks.
Well, yeah.
I mean, they acknowledge him, but he's just kind of there, So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's bittersweet. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Like, I mean, it sucks, but it's like a beautiful way to pay tribute to, this actor.
Yeah.
And the character as well. That's
exactly.
Really cool.
Yeah. Oh, and Danny Pudi's one of the triplets. So that's
Ben
cool.
Schwartz, I know that. Like, I know the
Ben
cast
Schwartz
is amazing.
Yeah. David Tennant is voicing Scrooge McDuck. Way to bury the lead, me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a great show. I cannot recommend that enough. Anyway, I love that show so much. I wanted more ducks, so I grabbed this volume of the Uncle Scrooge Donald Duck Volume 9 collection, hardcover by Fantagraphics. They did a great job recoloring it. Everything you love about it is still there in its original form. Some of it's a little bit dated because of the time period. Just know that going in. But
that's cool.
I mean, these were fine. This is like 90s and stuff like that in this volume. So, it's pretty harmless. But yeah, check it out. It's good stuff. I enjoyed it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so last week I kind of had two.
Yes.
So my goal, one of my goals in this challenge was I need to catch up on Saga. Saga's on a long hiatus. I've been behind, I don't know how many issues behind, but I was pretty far behind on it. So last week I did 7 and 8, and this week is 9. So
nice.
Saga, the Brian K. Vaughan. Last week was kind of like 7 and 8, and then this week I'm doing volume 9 and completely catching up. And I might have already read it all.
Well, I decided to.
The artwork, the writing.
It's so good. It's so good.
Now it's this massive cliffhanger, and it's not going to be back for like at least a year.
See, that's why you should have took your time.
I can't though. It's so good.
I know. It's just so addictive.
Even with a cliffhanger, which Saga is known to do that, I can't recommend Saga enough. Especially if you're like, I don't know about comics, like you're kind of on the fence about it. Like I'd be like Saga and Why the Last Man. Like Brian K. Vaughan is one of my go-tos of like, I love his writing. And he's almost always paired with female artists, who he involves creatively on like basically every level. And they are some of the best artwork out there. Like it's just gorgeous stuff.
Fiona Staples is the artist on Saga, of course. And just like I gave the warning with Killer Mike's show, surprising nudity in that one. Just so you know going in.
Yeah.
Occasional surprising nudity. Just,
that's a good warning because there have been some times where I want to give that as a gift to people or whatever. Because the beautiful thing about Saga Volume 1 is like, it's like so first of all, edition is usually like $15, but like Volume 1's only 10. So it's like it's the perfect gift book. So I've given this as a gift to friends, but like you can't do it with everyone because there are some people that just, for good reason, like, that's their own things. Like they just don't want that in their lives. Yep. Like we were talking about earlier, like, some of that can be positive and some of it can be negative and how much you consume of it and what exactly you're consuming and everything like that. And I will say that I think that her artwork and his writing and their work, their collaboration, it still doesn't feel disrespectful and gross to me.
It doesn't. As a matter of fact, it
feels like dirty but tasteful, if that makes sense.
In a lot of cases. But oddly enough, what they got the most complaints about on that book was just the cover of one of the main characters breastfeeding. Like, what? They tried to shut that down.
What? Really?
Yeah, totally. I mean, something as natural as that, they tried to shut down. Not the giant infected, etc. spoilers.
See, this is where I'm like, okay, if you want to be a little bit more puritanical about like pornography or whatever, like that's your thing, man. Like I get, like I was saying earlier, like there's some stuff that makes me uncomfortable. Like everyone's got their own limits or everything like that. We try not to judge it, but like there's nothing pornographic about that. That's just natural. Like what? Sex is natural too, but like literally, there's nothing sexual about it, I guess is the way I should state it. Why are you, god damn, I hate the internet. Fuck you. like what? I don't, but like, I just don't understand it. Like, why are you getting so angry about shit like that when there are so many things in the world you could actually be angry about and then maybe do something about that's important? But it's just like, that's not, like, I don't understand that at all. People get angry about breastfeeding. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, seriously.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. But
I don't either.
Needless to say,
that's so strange, though. I had never heard that was a controversy. But it's beautiful. It's all, thing. I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, it's just really a story about, it's an exploration of family. Family in the traditional sense and the family that you make your family along the way. So that's what the themes are. The themes are about like love and parenting and relationships and all of this stuff and how it can, mess you up in certain ways and lift you up in others. It's just, it's really, really gorgeous storytelling. The best artwork out there. I mean, she does her own color work too. So, that's why they're taking a break because she's just so, it's too much like for her to do all of this. She needs a break. Because she was also, I think, doing the Archie comics. I don't know if she still
Oh,
is.
yeah. That's right, yeah. The Mark Waid.
Yeah, which I wasn't super into, despite loving her art and loving Mark Waid. It's weird because I like Riverdale, but that's because it's like, I love the dramas. Oh, the drama. But like, and I love teen shows and everything like that most of the time. So that, that sold me. But like the actual Archie comics, I'm like, nah, all right.
Not so much. No, because first of all, they have to play it safer than the show. I mean, obviously. And then,
yeah.
I mean, I appreciate the fact that they tried something. They tried to modernize it a little bit,
I liked it. I just wasn't super into it. Like I read like the first volume, maybe a little bit into volume 2.
Yeah.
Because I was reading it as individual issues. And I enjoyed it, but it just, I guess it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, if that makes sense. Like, it wasn't the drama, like, it wasn't the show, which is good, because you can get two different things. You can get, like, this cool modernized version of Archie, and then you can get the crazy, the batshit teen drama, and, like, it's two different flavors. It's just, it wasn't what I was expecting. But yeah, the artwork is gorgeous. Saga. So that's my pick of the week. Volume 9.
Cool.
Which completely catches me up.
And just to circle back, for my next book, I'm going to be checking out, in anticipation of the upcoming series on DC, their streaming service, I'm going to check out Grant Morrison's run on Doom Patrol. I picked up the first volume, and it is hefty. But the paperback that I picked up, it's so well restored, like the coloring is all repaired in there. I don't know why I'm big on coloring lately, but I just admire when they go back and painstakingly fix. It really is, because I've picked up older comics that have just severe coloring issues where like the colors will bleed outside of the lines because of a printing problem or something. And the fact that they went in and they just fixed all that stuff and it just made everything look so crisp and clean. With the modern processes, it speaks to me. So, I've heard great things about the Grant Morrison run on Doom Patrol. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be weird because I flipped through it a little bit. But I love
it's Grant Morrison.
So I'm ready.
He writes weird stuff. Like,
you love
he's one
the
of those
drama.
guys.
I love the weird.
No. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what Grant Morrison said. Oh, I read. He works with Frank Whiteley a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of that artwork. Just personal preference. So I read, I read All-Star Superman, years ago, and I remember not liking it, but I can't recall what it was about it that I didn't really like.
It was about everything. I mean, it was basically just, it seemed like it was about Superman at the end of his life, just wrapping up his loose ends.
Oh man, that Superman Secret Identity that I read like 2 weeks ago or whatever. We didn't talk about it last week because we had the heavy mini episode.
Yes.
It was not a mini episode. But technically was. That was good. That was good stuff. I would highly recommend. It's very different. Like, it was not what I was expecting. But I would recommend you guys go pick that up at the shop because that was good shit.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, I guess we should probably call it an episode. Speaking of
also,
going over,
I'm not buying into your Doom Patrol TV show. I'm not subscribing. Not doing it.
No, why not?
I don't know. It's money. I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
Okay. Even though Brendan Fraser's on that one, right?
Brendan Fraser is on there.
No,
and
no.
The episode that he was in of Titans was pretty dope.
Oh, he was on Titans too. Cool.
Well, because they use it as kind of like a soft, intro to the
backdoor
group.
pilot.
A backdoor pilot.
Yeah.
But it was odd because the show was already approved. But they had them do a cameo, so it was kind of cool. I really enjoyed the vibe they had there for the Doom Patrol. So I'm looking forward to the show.
Maybe if it comes out in like a separate thing, I'll get it. I don't know. It's just difficult to justify another subscription service, you know?
CBS Access, DC.
Oh my God.
Disney.
I can't handle that CBS Access is a thing because, come on, man. I want Twilight Zone. Damn it. I really want Twilight Zone. Like this new Twilight Zone is coming out in April. And I'm like, but I can't justify another one.
At least Netflix started putting their stuff on DVD.
Yeah. I hope other companies do that.
Same.
Because I'd like to see that.
We'll see how it goes.
This was a good one.
Yeah, definitely.
We did not talk about half of the things we planned on because those tangents, man, they were just too good.
Man, just running tangents. So, yeah, thank you folks for listening. As always, we ask you to kindly visit us on iTunes and give us one of those 5-star ratings or whatever ratings. We're down for the feedback. Just tell us what you think.
Yeah, give us good ratings. Subscribe. That's really big because that's what pushes us up in the old atmosphere. I don't know what I'm talking about, but
I don't know either.
No. But seriously, rating and subscribing, those are two really big deals for helping us out and getting the word out there. And share us with your friends and share us with people you hate and everyone.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming up. And we'd love to get that to you guys as easily and quickly as possible. So when you subscribe and tell friends, stuff.
Oh, we have announcements coming, guys. We have things. Life is happening.
Right on. So once again, thank you for listening. And we can't wait to talk to you guys again.
Be excellent to each other.
All right.
Bam.
We done.
I think that my favorite, I made in the notes, I think Sidenote about SpongeBob is the name of the episode. I think that's my favorite because you said it. I didn't even acknowledge it on there. I just was like, name of the episode.
Side note about SpongeBob.
It's just so funny. I love it.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. It's good. The best.
Oh, man. All right. I'm tired. I'm going to sleep.
Yep. That was a good one. All right.
Yeah, man. All right. Talk to you soon.
All right. See you. Bye.
Bye.